Hello, y'all. Hi, Shalom, Wadu, Dink Allah, everyone. How's everyone doing out there? All right. Tomorrow's Jammy Central's okay. Today we're gonna talk about some TikTok videos. I got some TikTok videos I want to share with you all. So let's do that, shall we? Let's do that right away. Okay.
This is the kind of thing that they train for, and they are ready to go.
That said, this is something that I think folks can plan for.
And planning is something that will be very important. Oregon's Office of Emergency Management is leading the state's coordination effort. Think of Eugene, or maybe the Civil War.
That's obviously going to be magnified on a much bigger scale. But there's going to be people stuck in traffic. There's going to be a lot of use of cell phone networks. So we want to make sure that folks have paper maps if they're going into areas they're not familiar with, because you might not be able to way.
To help with the influx of people, Governor Kate Brown authorized the Oregon National Guard to deploy soldiers to help.
Anything from medical assist with, and we're more than happy to assist with these. We're members of the community, and we're happy to help the citizens of Oregon.
It's the kind of stuff the National Guard is
on and put our training to use. And when we get to do this real world, it absolutely is a thrill for us. We love supporting and being able to be here.
Now, this is going to be the height of the wildfire season. It has been very dry throughout the summer.
Stop and listen. I'm about to tell you some things about the eclipse that you have not heard yet. No, I'm not going to talk about how it forms the Aleph or the Tav, or how it goes through all the cities of Nineveh. More importantly, I'm going to talk about something in our past. Did you know that in 1811, we had a solar eclipse that was preceded 2 weeks earlier by a partial lunar eclipse? This is the second solar eclipse that we had in the early 1800s. The reason this is important is because following these, in the year 1811, we had earthquake, over 2,000 to be exact, followed by 6,000 to 10,000 in the Boothfield of Missouri, where the New Madrid fault line is. You should pause and read this, because you'll see that we had some as strong as 8.8 in the series following the solar eclipse. Here's where it starts to get interesting. It states that the Mississippi River ran backwards for 3 hours, as well as many other earthquake phenomena. I bet you didn't hear about that in history class. Stay with me, because this is where it gets interesting. There was sand boils, seismic tar balls, earthquake lights, earthquake smog, thunder, and animal warnings. I suggest you smell bad and that it was hard to breathe. I suggest you just pause and read some of the scriptures that I put here before continuing on, because I'm trying to make this as short as possible. Now, I'm sure you know that the devil comet will also be visible. Also a comet that came through during the 1811 solar eclipse. The Tecumseh comet is what they called it. Now, of course, they say that this comet only comes around once every 3,065 years, but I do have something interesting to add to this. The Devil Comet, or as they call it scientifically, the Pons Brooks, orbits the sun every 71 years. Since we will see it this year in 2024 with the eclipse, we can do a little backwards math. And if you look, it actually goes back to the last time we saw it as the year 1811. Of course, they wouldn't lie to us about history there, right? Remember when I mentioned earlier that the solar eclipse of 1811 was preceded 2 weeks earlier by a lunar eclipse? Well, wouldn't you know it, exactly 2 weeks prior to the April 8th solar eclipse, we will have a lunar eclipse on March 25th. Those earthquakes were called the Great New Madrid earthquakes, and of course we know that the path goes right over the New Madrid fault line for the eclipse of April 8th. Maybe they do have reasoning for stationing National guard, canceling schools, putting out radiation units. I mean, who knows what's in that earthquake smog that's going to dark out the sky? Not to mention how that also ties into more scripture. I know I find it as it happened during those earthquakes. You would think that would be a big part of history, knowing that some of these occurrences have happened. Of course, do this information what you will. I do believe that this also ties in with the city's name Nineveh, the sign of the prophet Jonah, and of course all of the things we see coming through the 40 days that we're going to have to repent. You should read the accounts of the New Madrid earthquakes back in the 1811 and 1812 timeline. It'll blow your mind how much destruction there was, although most of history doesn't tell us about it. Now, of course, fast forward to right now, what that would do to everybody if the grid was taken out during this, or if this caused mass cities, mass casualties, and mass grid down events. Once again, I'm saying that we need to repent as a nation. We need to turn to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ before it's too late. I'm not putting any authority on this happening. I'm just saying that history does tend to repeat itself. And we've seen all of this happen, and it was almost seemingly unimportant for them to tell us about it. And now we look at this possibly happening again. Seek Christ and repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Much love.
Guard is going to be here now for the solar eclipse.
Yeah, because it's a big deal. Last one was in 2017, and the next one's not until like 2044. So what's it going to look like? That's going to look like a lot of those small towns in the path to totality that have like 100,000 people living in it are going to see a population boom overnight of 200,000 to 300,000 of people just coming, trying to get in the path of totality to get the best pictures and stuff. So do you have local law enforcement to provide coverage for 300,000 people? You probably don't. So the governor's activating the Guard and Reserves to help out. Is your cell phone network built up enough to provide service for 300,000 people? It's probably not. So cell phone service is going to be bogged down or drop out altogether. Is that local Walmart and gas station stocked to provide service for 300,000 people? Probably not. So all that people that travel, they're going to take all your food and gas, and then you're stuck with nothing. So stock up.
A month away from the April 8th solar eclipse, Travis County issues a disaster declaration. Officials expect to see big crowds, traffic, and a strain on first responders, hospitals, and roads.
That's what we're trying to put resources in place for, to direct traffic, extra law enforcement on the streets out in those areas, extra signage, working with Waze and Google to try to pre-identify and map routes that people can take safely into and out of the area.
Private property owners in unincorporated areas are required to let the county know if they plan to host a gathering with more than 50 people. That's so first responders can prepare accordingly.
We're making the declaration today. We're requiring that registration and those other measures until the 8th. The court ratifying that today will keep it into effect.
Del Valle ISD announcing Friday they're canceling classes on April 8th, joining these districts that will close that day. Other districts like Austin ISD are using the day as an educational event. The county says there are no plans to close roads. Some parks require reservations, and many are already filled up.
We want to make sure, even when we were talking specifically around potential challenge points going into and out of the parks, the goal is going to be to keep the traffic moving as free flow as possible.
Hays County is closing their county offices that day, except for public safety ones. No matter where you are, leaders say avoid non-urgent appointments that day. Stock up on groceries and gas beforehand, and download the What 3 Words app to make it easier for first responders to find you.
Wonder what's the first words? I need help.
Here are 5 things that you need to be doing to prepare for this upcoming eclipse on April the 8th. Number 1, get you some sun and some fresh air. Sun is definitely needed. I'm not talking about the kind of sun that you standing in the shade like this here. No, I need you to be right here. I need you to feel this Lux energy on your face, on your skin. And let me tell you something about Lux energy. When you're in the shade, you're not getting that much of it. So you need to be in direct sunlight. And if you're darker than me, your color, my color or darker, you need to be out there for about 10 to 15 minutes. The darker the hue of your skin, the more that you need. Here's a cheat code. If you put your hand or the soles of your feet, see they lighter than my skin, you put them out to the sun, it's almost like you're charging one of those cordless phones on the mount. Just by my hand being there in direct sunlight, the palms of my hands are charging my body up. You need sun. Don't listen to people that don't look like you, that may be more recessive trait than you, telling you to avoid the sun. And I'm talking about now, the day of April 8th, and days later, because the eclipse is coming and energetically it's already here, like it getting in alignment. So the energy is already present in its realm. Okay. And so when you're outside, make sure you take deep breath, inhale and exhale some air, because we are part of these elements. From dust thou art, and dust thou shalt return. Okay. The element of air, the element of fire, the element of earth, the element of water. And so you got to recharge by these elements. This is what we are made of. Number two. Number two is going to be detoxing your body. You are a light being. If you never had a detox before, I can help you with that. But it's time to detox. It's time to not, be full of crap. Let's reverse that. You're a light body. You need electrolytes. Number three, drink water. Stay hydrated. 80% of your body is water. Why are you dehydrated? Why are you not taking advantage of the water, be water, my friend, that you are made of? Come on now. And not just any kind of water. We're talking about spring water with sodium bicarbonates and electrolytes. Okay? Number four, relax. Would you relax? I can help you with that too. Relax. Take deep breaths when you're out here. Stop thinking that the sky daddy gonna come and you gonna go to the invisible HELL. Stop thinking crazy things. There's a power that runs this realm that is for your greater good. Why you worried about the crazy stuff? Stop listening to low frequency people trying to scare you. God never gave you the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and sound mind. I can help you if you have anxiety. Leave a comment and I'll share with you how. Number five, eat healthy. And when I say that, I say eat healthy according to your food, to your tongue creates a chemical reaction. It's either causing inflammation or it is not. So you got to eat right for your blood type. You can't subscribe to every diet and every meal plan that other people in that you do just because they're so-called healer in the conscious community. Sometimes us healers, we'll want to be really passionate and tell people, hey, this made me feel good and this will help you. And I get it. But I'm not that type of person. I understand we have different blood types, which represents different elements in this realm. And so there's going to be some people with highly beneficial foods that's not beneficial for everybody. There's some people in this realm that have more hydrochloric acid than other people have in their gut to digest certain foods, So eat according to your blood type. I can help you with that as well. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we have vegans in the physical reality that's right there, tapping onto consciousness and everything, but they still having sickness and diseases. Why is that? Because in the matrix, everything have a coding. Your fruit and vegetables ain't exempt from that. So eat according to your blood type. I can help you with that as well. But these are some simple things, 5 simple things that you can do to prepare for this eclipse on April 8th. So enjoy as we remember who we are. Enjoy playing the game of life because you're God and in physical form, having this human experience. But enjoy it though. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey of becoming, okay? Be blessed, babe.
What I'm about to tell you about the solar eclipse on April 8th is nation seeks for a sign, but no sign will be given to it except for what also be in the coming of the Son of Man. So check this out. The path that the solar eclipse will be taken on April 8th will literally go through the cities of Jonah, Texas, several towns and cities named Nineveh. Also, get this, Rapture, Indiana. It also crosses where the Ark is in Williamstown, Kentucky. But that's not all. It will also be taking place under the constellation Cetus, which means the whale. God is literally giving us the signs of the hour we are in right now. If you believe this is a sign from God, then follow for more.
Okay, a lot of you are talking online about the eclipse and disaster declarations, emergency declarations that have been issued. And there's a lot of information that's not necessarily accurate going around. The main reason that law enforcement agencies, counties, and cities are issuing emergency orders are because there are going to be so many people visiting the areas that are in the line of where the eclipse is going to be. I'm near, where is it? Sandusky, Ohio is where I'm probably 2 hours away from there. I was thinking of going there. Probably won't though, but there are going to be a lot of people going. So I know there's a lot of stuff going on around there, but the reason they're doing these declarations of emergencies is because there's going to be a lot of people and the local resources could be overwhelmed because there's so many people in one area. So let me know what you think. I know there's a lot of other thoughts about what's going on, but that's what I know. And like I said, I will keep it real and give you the real information. Thank you, everybody.
¿Por qué la luna puede tapar al sol? Aunque la luna es 400 veces más pequeña que este astro, también...
Yeah, I want to show you some more. Let me see.
buckle up, I started eating somebody up, and then it all clicked in my mind real quickly of how the mutated and was creating to these.
I'm not trying to do that one. Just trying to do that one. Okay, hold on, y'all. Hey, how you doing? Nine, yeah. I have your birthday right. Yep, not working. Let me look on it. I'm looking at. I'm looking at the. There we go. I see you. Okay, there we go. It's not getting on one, but uh I see you though. Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that's better now. Okay, go ahead. So you have yeah, I see it here too. Okay, so you had a cash app. Go ahead and donate and tell me what you want to know. Or you see the PayPal. Oh, you see the cash app or PayPal right there. It's right there. MA874. So go ahead and donate and tell me what we doing on. You want to know for the month, for the year, for the week, years down the line, or just a couple of years down the line, or a month, or 6 months or a week, or just let me know what you want to know. So go ahead and put something in the Cash App, and I go ahead and do it. So whatever you do, go ahead. I'm waiting. I just have to wait. So right now, wait. I'm looking at my video, and I'm looking at whatever you put on there. Whatever you send me, go ahead. I haven't seen nothing donated, so I don't know what was donated. Nothing has donated. You can't. Can you donate? Sure, you can donate $1.99. Sure, you can donate $1.99. You won't get much answer from $1.99, but you can if you do two or three of well, go ahead. Whatever you want to donate. Whatever you want to donate is fine. $1.99 is fine. That's what you want to donate. Donate that, sure. Let's see what questions you have to ask about. No problem. Go ahead. She said she just have a question. She just have a question. So let's see what her question is. Oh, give me some more water. I like water a lot. Mm, I like water a whole lot. Okay, let's see. All right, Sylvia. What's the question? My question is, why did my boyfriend Mark send me a movie of his ex-wife acting in? I wouldn't have watched it. I wouldn't have watched it. So, what to me it seems like he's trying to compare you to his wife, trying to make you get on his nerves. I wouldn't watch it. It's income tax time. Be nice to him, be good to him, get his money. Then after that, then get upset after everything else. He's trying to get you upset because it's income tax time, Bunny. I wouldn't go for it. I wouldn't watch it. He's trying to take he's trying to take the power off of you. I wouldn't watch it. That's it. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it. The power is supposed to stay on you, and you're a Virgo, he a Scorpio. The power is supposed to stay on you. He's trying to make you jealous. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it at all. I'm glad you felt weird about it because he was trying to make you jealous. I'm glad you didn't fall for his okey doke BS. That was some okey doke BS. Exactly what that was. Okey doke BS. He did that purposely just to make you jealous. Yep. Yeah. No, I don't have to put no cards on it. I can just from what you just told me, he just trying to make you jealous. You can that's common sense. Common sense is common. You know what he did? He tried to make you jealous. He tried to make you jealous. You didn't need to be jealous over that. That wasn't nothing to be jealous about. He tried to make you jealous. I know he tried to make you jealous. You know he tried to make you jealous. Everybody know he tried to make you jealous. All right, I'm coming back from the powders room. I'm coming back from the powders room. What else do we got from the powders room? Okay, I come back from the powders room. Let's see what else we got besides him trying to make you feel silly on some stuff that's 12 years old. Okay. No, that ain't nothing to pull no cards about. No, not that. So you want to put some cards on something deep, serious, like uh a baby or marriage or what's headed next? But that right now he's playing games. That shows me he's playing games. He's the Scorpio. Scorpios are supposed to be, but you have to do things differently this year. You're a Virgo. You have to do things differently this year. I can say that for you. You got to do things differently this year. So he expects you to do things differently this year. So work on doing different things this year. Don't pay no attention to his girlfriend. Don't pay no attention to his girlfriend or whoever he talking about. Don't pay no attention to it. Don't whatsoever fall into it, okay? Tell him to fall into your bills because he's trying to reverse psychology, make you get out of your own head when he was doing things for you in the beginning when you and your father and everybody had to meet him. Don't let him get sidetracked. Don't you get sidetracked. Don't get sidetracked. That's all that is. So let's see what we have. If she has some more questions, and she has some more, let's see what else we got. We got some TikTok videos. Okay. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. No problem. Trying to. Uh-oh. There's no sound. Okay, now should be able to share it.
It's the inside thought. Okay, we inside my head right now. If Eve did everything I just said, the house, he kicked him out the Garden of Eden, and to be able to tell which one he was, she gave him an Adam's apple. So Adam didn't bite the apple. Adam was he was the skins on skin. Let's go apple after me, so you won't talk that shit. That shit in your throat. So he leaves. He goes to the cave, right? Which is why they say the morning star fell, or somebody fell from heaven. Somebody fell from grace. We're gonna pretend Adam didn't go alone. Okay, every serial killer's got a group. The jailhouse tells us now human nature is to love us. Love the bad one. Okay, it's with man the evils. So they go to Genesis. What I said to you, and let's pretend that Adam chose one that was to sit because remember, that's because in the cave. Now those caves is ones that broke out, and when they broke out, they started the Christian Crusades, which is how they were capable of going and mating with the actual original Eve gene, which is how we can still trace it and how we're all genetically still connected. Adam, the firstborn son, is the Caucasus Mountain, the inbreds, the fallen angel, the children, the necromim, the earthbound children. So then you're going to say, well, what happened to Eve and all her kids? They told you the bronze feet. Jesus was not one person or man. They sacrificed all the ones left. And the only people left to rule the world was Adam. And the Bible tells you what's up of Adam and all his sons and with the destruction they did. The talk about after Genesis, about Eve's kids, them her grandchildren. And look, when I stay still there, I'm starting to think that all of the earth, the whole earth, was the equivalent of Antarctica. But see, pillaging and digging in the ground and messing up the trees and flooding things changed it. It changed the entire freaking world, okay? And everything left in Antarctica is the Garden of Eden. That's why they can't find it. Can't find it because they don't want us in there because they got a treaty. And let's pretend that Pangea was real. So the whole Garden of Eden was all of that. So before Pangea, they were just living there. So Eve's children, her daughters, were spread out through that land, which is how you have genetic markers of Black people as aboriginals in all the places. And let's say they broke out the mountain, the world flooded, the geographical climates and everything changed, right? But I told you Adam and Lilith was in there making kids. So when their kids came out, they started the Christian Crusades. The Christian Crusades took all the relics from all the Black lands, all the Christians, all the things that could charge ether. It was an ether war. They were mad because the melanin The Bible does say people will curse. Yeah, go. That was just inside of my head. I'm gonna put that all together. We gonna figure this. Keeping Black women down and unaliving them this whole time has been trying. Yes, I'm so glad you asked this question. Wouldn't Lilith carry the Eve dash as why? Using that they are tracing bloodlines looking to destroy simultaneously. They would have to rewrite. Okay, so no. If Adam and Lilith were meiotic parthenogenesis, they would have no genetic connections to Eve at all. Keep in mind the story. They tell us that one religion is born from 4 women, right? Not Eve, from 4 separate women. So let's ride with that story. So we could literally argue at this point that's why there are 2 types of human beings, because there are 3 or 4 types of melanin. But when we put the word azoid on something, we are genetically different. But we do come from the same ancestors. How's that possible? You have to put respect on what the word ancestor really means. It's just a line, not necessarily a bloodline, but just a line of where you came from. Lilith can be a daughter of Eve without being her physical biological daughter. That's when we get into the words playing with kids and children and babies. You go really look at the definition of those, they be telling y'all straight up what those words mean. But no, Lilith would not carry the Eve gene at all. In fact, all of her descendants would not carry the Eve gene, which is why the Eve gene is only found in Black women. Now we have to put the stories together. So you're telling me Eve is real, the Eve gene, and you're telling me that a group of people stemmed from 4 mothers. And science, like I said, tells you we're the same race, the same species, but there are subspecies within us. And if you're lost, you got to go back 2 posts technically to start with Adam, okay? Adam, parthenogenesis of Eve, which means all of Adam's descendants neither would have the Eve gene in their children, aka Adam and Lilith's children would not be descendants of the Eve gene. They would be descendants of the ancestral lineage of the line of Eve, making them human beings in a subspecies. Good morning, Tiki Story Time. Someone said something not so nice to me in my DMs, and I want to talk about it. Someone asked me, am I proud of the racial division that I stirred? 2, am I proud of the people I have led away from Jesus Christ? I'd rather be famous instead of dead, is what Doja Cat said to you guys. And then after that, she literally told people to stop following her. She asked people to drop her. She started blocking people. Look at the things she's showing me. So yeah, like no, everyone who's up there, Doja Cat Good morning, Tiki. Let's play a game. Let's play.
Oh boy.
Bible itself is not copyrighted. So Disney is run by American people. But my personal opinion, that's the king's property as well. See, by the right. The Bible itself is not copyrighted. So Disney would not need to buy it to make a movie. That's what this is all about. They're saying that the rights so they can make a movie about the Bible, but you don't need that. But what is intriguing is that the commercial Bibles, the ones that are revised and redistributed, those are owned by people. Those are owned by people. So can King James buy the rights to something that he owns? No, that's absurd. But then the funny question comes into play. Is the king Disney? I'm going to outright tell you that the brand Disney is run by American people, but my personal opinion, and that's the king's property as well. See, this crazy wild thing happened is when DeSantos was running his mouth and trying to have a peeing contest with nobody, he showed the world something the world wasn't supposed to see. If Disney is not owned by the British Crown, how were they capable of invoking the royal clause to stump DeSantos, which is what happened, which is why we are not hearing about Florida and Disney World anymore because it's over with. So if the king don't own Disney, how they do that? Yeah, that royal clause is totally real. Absolutely real. But anyways, so Disney, again, Disney, are you owned by England? Because everything kind of points that you are. So Disney, it's weird that someone would come out and say that you bought the Bible. Now, actually thinking about it further, 1881, when that Bible was revised 80,000 times, it's really cool because it's like a great that happened. Oh, influenza, that flu thingy where they were injecting people with weird stuff. Isn't it cool that throughout time they have little times where they can inject people with weird stuff and then a bunch of things happen, a bunch of time changes, I don't know, things change. If the King James people did anything and purchased anything, they purchased the rights to every other commercial Bible so that they could change them in unison. That is how you erase text. That's how you go through time and you have a Bible where how do you have that verse? I don't know. I've never seen that verse in my life. How do you have a book of Enoch? I don't know. I've never seen that book in my how does it happen? You buy things. You buy rights to things and then you change them. So, in 1881, King James VI, same guy who wrote Demonology, changed the actual Bible the world had, and then later on, we were allowed to monopolize the Bible, allowing people to buy their own commercial and print and translate, changing a bunch of different words. Well, you're going to have some books where you don't know what's said. And those words. You uniform the history out of books. You guys are changing all the food. You got the fake lab meat up here. Now you're introducing. Question for you. Why is lettuce being made? Why are all the eggs fake? Karina, how is your lawsuit against the chicken and the fish feed? Chili, you look like Maui right now. Did you guys know that chili was disintegrated too? And they said it was. Hey guys, remember I said that ammonium nitrate burns red brown? Do you know what happens after the red brown, dies off? Well, it leaves red brown soup everywhere. Chili, what color? That it would be very lucrative for Disney to buy something, but they don't need to buy the rights to the real Bible because they own the real Bible. They are the real Bible. We live in a weird backward society, but okay. Yes. Yep.
I'm gonna play another one after this one, you all.
Okay, guys, clearly my page is making it to the vote over here. We don't vote for neither one of them. That's the right wing, the left wing, the same evil bird. The birds of a feather flock together. Biden's people scared, and Trump is a racist. But see, you wouldn't know because you're okay. Go look it up this morning. Go look Trump's race settlement. So no, I would not support Trump. I don't support Kamala either. Kamala spent her whole career locking up black people just to use black people's votes to get it in. And Trump or he could just got smart and he realizes the black community has the highest number of spending in the world. Okay, darling. But for me, is you missing the whole point of that video that the president don't got no power. That's the government. That's literally single-handedly draining us dry. And they put the poster boy or the fall guy, which is the president, in place. Or was it the part that I said they put Trump in office so that they could take the whole because I'm gonna give people so much hope? It's part of the truth. Like, I feel tricking yourself into parts of conversations that don't actually relate to you. So what you could do is listen to that post with an open heart and open mind and realize that you're broke as shit because of Trump, because of Biden, because of Bush, because of Bill, because of Reagan. It's that common denominator that you're still broke and none of the presidents did nothing for you. Nobody in the Senate, nobody how. Let me guess. Are you still on minimum wage? You should use that energy to get your minimum wage now, okay? Because of inflation. Come here really closely. Find something better to do today, baby girl. Because I have time.
Okay, I'm gonna show y'all some more. The kinds I want to show y'all. Let me find it. Hold on.
Hi, good morning. I'm gonna air TikTok out. Consequences.
Okay, now there we go. You all okay? I'm back. Okay. Yeah.
And he's been out here, quote unquote, being a whistleblower. Y'all let me know in the comments. Do you think he's crazy? Do you think something happened that triggered these emotions and this outburst? I would say not outburst, but this coming out of information that he said that he has proof on. Let's go.
Yo, you could ever fucking believe Bohemian Grove is real. They fucking tied me down and they made me fucking watch, dog. I absolutely don't give a fuck anymore. I don't give a fuck, bro. I was 2 years old. Yes, I fucking lost it. They're little kids.
He doesn't want to take us off. So let's go. He doesn't want to take us off.
Fuck this guy, dude. Bro, fuck this dude.
Who?
Bro,
You know
you know the higher elites, bro. You already know who they are, bro.
You know the path you're going down is dangerous, my friend.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. They can't touch me. I'm a god.
I care about you a lot, and I can assure you from my own personal experience that they can touch you.
Wow.
Bro, my door gets kicked in if I say what I'm thinking.
That's
there's
Andrew
gonna be
Tate,
people
by the
who
way.
believe you're just saying this because you've, I don't know, had a mental breakdown or taken drugs and you're repeating some of the things you've said on the internet.
Of course they're gonna want that, and I have all the information possible. The right time I'm gonna release all of it. Right? They're already calling me to tell me stop. I don't give a
Wow.
fuck. They can't stop me because they listen to the devil. I listen to God. God gave me authority. It's over for everybody. Right? I'm trying to expose everybody.
Ryan, to be honest with you, I believe that she's got your best interest at heart.
Okay, I get that, but I don't care. At the end of the day, I'm trying to really stop every fucking devil worshiping bitch.
He going in, boy.
Oh boy.
Papa Smurf is actually the devil. Hello, I am a Smurf. And did you know Gargamel was based on a real person? In the 12th century, he was born in Spain into a family too poor to raise a child. So they left him in a basket in front of a convent church. He was raised to be a priest, but over the years, all the men who lived in the church with him passed away.
Wow.
Gargamel was depressed. So he got his cat and named it Azrael, which means sins. Think about it. Greedy Smurf represents greed. Brainy Smurf represents envy. Hefty Smurf is pride. Lazy Smurf is sloth. Grouchy Smurf is wrath. Chef Smurf represents gluttony. And
Wow.
Smurfette is lust. Not only do they represent the 7 deadly sins, but Papa Smurf is the only one wearing red, a devilish color, so he's considered the devil of the pack. The Smurfs are trying to bring evil to humanity, and Gargamel is protecting the world from us.
Wow, that is crazy. That is a
Crash
crazy.
like an addict coming off of drugs.
Chemicals in your
He
foods.
slept a lot. He would get up in the morning and he'd go lay back down on the couch. He was so tired. And he craved milk and cheese. He would have eaten an 8-ounce brick of cheese in and setting his body to be touched.
What?
He ate and slept. His body was starved, and it was finally beginning to recover.
That gives you everything you need.
I found that out. I found that out.
Whole new perspective.
Chick-fil-A, y'all.
Whole new perspective.
So I'm going to talk
Hey,
about maybe it's not that you're hungry, maybe your body's craving the voice. The food is designed specifically to make you an addict. Perfect example, Coca-Cola. Is Coke, what do you say, it's sweet or is it salty? Sweet. Perfect. Guess how much sodium is in Coca-Cola? A lot. Why? What does salt do? It makes you thirsty. It dehydrates you and it makes you drink more. They purposely put a lot of sodium in it where you get thirsty to drink more, and then put sugar to cover it up.
Wow. Somebody let me know if you're drinking a Coca-Cola right now. Look at the back of that joint and tell me what's the sodium level in it. That's if you're drinking a Coca-Cola right now, or if you got one in the refrigerator, just drop it in the comments. I'm really eager to see what it says on this. I don't drink that shit. But y'all let me know in the comments what's the sodium level in it. American food. What the hell is that? Baby food. Magnet. What? Fake. Synthetic supplements burn, natural supplements won't. This is not fat. It's actually glue? Hell nah. Ice cream? Ice cream that buff. This shit right here gonna have more. We waking up. Seaweed. There's rice water and milk. Seaweed will turn it blue. Wow. Coffee. Coffee with additive float.
Whenever you see my face on your TikTok or your For You page, you're gonna start thinking, what the fuck is in our food right now?
Oh shit.
Well, here are some things that's in your food that you probably didn't know, but I think you should now. So of course, I'm back with another one.
Human hair. Is it in food? It helps bread stay fresh on the shelves. The hair comes from Chinese barbershop salons. What? It dissolves in acid to remove the It may also come from pig bristles or duck feathers, silicone fillers. Chicken nuggets are only 50% chicken. The other 50% are synthetic materials. They include silicone, but the chicken part is not pure meat either. It contains fat, cartilage, and nerves. Insect shells. Red food dye is made from carmine. It is extracted from a bug named whatever. Shells are boiled in sodium carbonate. 70,000 bugs are needed to make 1 pound of dye. This dye was first discovered by the Aztecs. They used it to dye fabrics. Animal bones. Gelatin is made of animal bones and skin. They are boiled and then dried. Resulting product is treated with strong acid. It's the filter to remove the collagen from the tissue is dried and ground. Gelatin is added to marshmallows and jello. Animal guts. Hot dog meat is made of meat trimmings. These are made of animal heads, feet, liver, muscles, and blood. Sometimes other byproducts are added. Snout, lips, eyes, or brain, sausage, casing. What? I'm vegetarian. I don't eat none of that
Did you
shit.
know the movie Shrek is based off my true and tragic story?
What?
Hello, I am Meyer Michels from the quiet town of Sunny City, Florida in the 1890s. People
You gotta pass that. Pass that. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all some more. Mm,
Tim Burchett's office, and he's become the first non-government civilian to submit a report to the United States Congress regarding the extraterrestrial phenomenon. John, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here on Redacted.
Like most people back in
Redacted.
1997, this was part of, or this was a documentary thinking alien interview. This is going to be like a weird humanoid looking person handing a clipboard over to a general at the Pentagon for a job interview. I mean, this is how my brain was thinking. And I'm sitting down, and 30 minutes into this documentary, this footage comes on. It's not professionally done. It doesn't have any cuts. There's people in the foreshadow. This gray alien is bone color, bone, like human bone. It's got round eyes, not almond shaped eyes. If I'm hoaxing a video of a gray alien, it's going to be gray, and it's going to have the typical Alma dies.
Right.
And this bizarre physiological monitor next to the beam that goes up and down and not across the screen. And then Victor, the alleged whistleblower who claimed to have helped smuggle this out of Area 51, that's the way insiders
Area
talk
51.
Y'all let me know if Buddy's still alive to do that smoke with this stuff out.
of Area 51. And I don't think a 23-year-old screenwriter in 96 could have made up this script that Victor was talking about. I mean, the vernacular
Not
he
in
used
Area
was
51.
bizarre. And he used a term called medical flagging. The creature starts to medically flag. And I asked my old doctor, who was about 65 years old at the time in 97, on my annual checkup, I said, "What is medically flagging?" He looked at me, he goes, "Where did you hear that from? That's like a army medical term we used in the 50s and 60s." I'm like, "Wait a minute, what is going on here?" And then there was some weird an acronym on the bottom, DNI, David November Igloo /27, and Victor tells us that was the Department of Navy. In the back of my mind going, what is going on here? And I don't want to say his name anymore because I'm getting admonished for doing so, but I was on a political bus tour and I went up to a senator during a break and who has passed away now. And I said, "Senator, what is the Department of Naval Intelligence?" And Clayton, you look in my eyes.
Yeah, see that?
I chose St. George's University School of Medicine because at the time that I wanted to go into medicine, university.
This guy went from jovial, happy senator to this aggressive look. And he looked at me, he goes, "You don't need to know anything about that." And he stormed off and he never talked to me the rest of the tour. Clayton, you're a journalist, you're an investigative reporter too. I'm thinking, wait a minute. I got a hoaxed video with medical terminology from 50s and 60s. I've got a gray alien that's tan and round eyes, medical staff that are in short sleeve scrubs and not in biohazard suits to really hype up the video. I've got years of my life back then. And I've got 3 letters on this hoaxed video that has just pissed off a United States senator. What in God's name is going on with this film?
So here it is. This is, again, it's silence. There's no audio on this. What are we looking at here as we play this film? What are we seeing on our screen, John?
Okay. Contrary to Victor's voiceover, this is a film shot April of 1991, a thought projection interview of a other gray designated an other.
Do y'all believe this? Man, do y'all believe that the government is straight interviewing extraterrestrials? I wouldn't put it past them. I don't care what y'all think about this particular video in regards to if it's real or not. I do believe the government know about extraterrestrials. They said they real. They said that the government said they exist. Now, interviewing them and stuff like that, I'm sure it's a lot of stuff going on we don't know about. I'm just saying.
Gray, an extraterrestrial biological entity. He is a haploid, which means he came with only one sexual chromosome. Human beings are diploids. For any microbiologists out there, if I'm hatcheting those words, I'm sorry. But this being had only one sexual chromosome. He came to the S2 alpha, the official designation alien interrogation and retention program. That's the unofficial name of what this was. They call these interview suites the ambassador suites because the government did try for the care and did treat these and look at these beings and still do as ambassadors from other planets and other dimensions. And if you hear David Grush coughing on his words, it's because he doesn't want to tell you that some of these beings are from other dimensions. And so this being was very ill at the time. He had a respiratory issue. Now, Sean David Morton also heard, I can't verify this veracity, that it's some sort of debilitation or disease with its heart-lung sac. It does not have a traditional heart. It's got a heart-lung one sac, which was the need for the special monitor, which goes up and down, does not go across, to monitor this bizarre heart-lung one sac organ that the alien has.
What?
And behind the viewing glass were 5 men, 2 telepaths. There is a researcher out there, but that's how bizarre this film has gotten. And I'm not even going to tell you anything about the telepaths because I don't want it to get into the Da Vinci Code. But even Doty said that the telepathic program, the people they hired, was ridiculous. They were like one step above 1-800 psychics back in the 80s and 90s. But there was two men in particular that were very in touch with these beings, and they would sit down with these aliens and these beings and immediately get information and relate it back to whatever military person was in the room.
Y'all let me know what a telepath is. I'm super into what this dude is talking about. Fill me in with the telepath though.
As you can see on the tape, the being eventually starts to medically flag, if I can use the whistleblower Victor's terminology, and he is then attended to by the medical staff. And Victor tells us that the
Whoa.
medical staff in S2 and S4, are more chosen for their ability to keep secrets than their medical knowledge. And again, I
Wow.
have been in contact. I have the names of the two doctors that are going to be on either side of this beam. On the
What?
bottom, you're going to see DNI/27. That is the Department of Naval Intelligence. According to Richard Doty, there's like a conga line of different agencies waiting to insert their questions to this being in the 2-hour-long interview. The interviews are conducted about once a month.
What did you start to piece together from people who were in the
What?
room? And so when we say hoaxed video, I think you're saying that was what the assumption you had going into this, that this was hoax. That was sort of the media speculation about
He
this.
said he got the doctor's
now
name.
You've proven and taken it to the United States Congress, which, by the way, they're about to hold a hearing on this next week. And I think that this is, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be a big piece of this. And other whistleblowers are now confirmed to be coming forward to Congress next week. Civilian whistleblowers who are going to be testifying of the things that they've been a part of and seen.
Like Linda Moulton Howe told me when she saw the list, you have gold here. Why? No one has ever, and like Linda said, and these people are on Google and are real. And I said, yeah, they are. And she said, son, you got gold here. And so I got the list of names, but I know investigative journalism. That wasn't just enough just to have the names. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. So I started to vet every single person on the list. The first person was retired working for TRW, and TRW, these are the men, by the way, who were behind the glass in the viewing gallery watching this thought projection interview. That's what it's called. It's not telepathy. It's actually called thought projection.
Wow.
And the first one worked for TRW. And I said, well, this is a hoax. He wasn't even in the military. Sean David Morton, who was in the office of the production company, who first got the call from Victor saying, I've got this VHS tape of an alien, said, no. TRW is like hand in hand with the government. They do every kind of secret project and whatnot. I said, wow. And Doty said that it was not filmed in S4. There are no alien housing there. The alien housing is in S2 Alpha. And I'm like, what's S2 Alpha? He sent me a satellite photo of it and said that's what it is. It's called the Alien Retention Program.
What?
This being was brought in on a part of Project Pounce. Doty's like, I don't know the provenance of the beam, but I think it was from the Kalahari crash where 2 beams were recovered. But the alien program, whether that be the retention, the interrogation, the biological reverse engineering of craft, that all is now taking place at Michael's Airfield at the Dugway
with this
The program to interview the
programs they
beings in
have.
S2 was called Project Aquarius, which was basically all things about aliens in contact with
Bro, did he do his research or what?
With human beings. And that is from the email, and that is also from Richard Doty's mouth, who is verified as the counterintelligence agent, who is in his 70s and wants to tell the story, the truth of what's going on, what the government is covering up.
Bruh, that was a lot. That was a lot. Y'all let Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I ain't playing in that shit. Hey, I'm not jumping in no. Oh no, I'm not playing. I'm not jumping in no. Nah, bro. At the beach, I'm right there in the shallows. I seen a TikTok the other day where they had a crocodile just swimming in the shallows. Just look, I'm not going out there deep. Y'all can what? Where'd it go? Bro, where did it go? He lucky as hell. He is lucky as hell. Boats out there just chilling. It's a great white shark out there? No.
This is actually the most terrifying video I could find on the dark web. A group of friends were walking in the forest when suddenly they heard a noise above their heads.
What the hell
and
is
as they
going on?
looked, this is what they stumbled upon. The ending will surprise you.
Bro, what the hell is going on?
Lo está manejando, lo está manejando.
Bro, what is going on?
Está rezando Junior.
So a dude just climbed up in a tree, but what the hell is... Oh, nah. Hell nah. I'm not about to wait for him to come down.
Munra. Este es Misael. Misa.
Bruh. Get your ass away from him. They sitting there with a phone. No. Oh, hell nah. Hell nah. He look like he about to attack.
Vem não, vem não.
Bro, he flipped that shit over, bro. If he flipped that shit over, they laugh.
É?
Eh?
Grande.
No. Y'all can have all that.
Unknowingly setting the stage for a potential face-off with the homeowner and
Hold on. Close encounter. Texas family's unwitting guest, a mountain lion.
and her dog. The woman, recalling the event, describes the terrifying possibility of what might have been. At 2 a.m. under the cover and amidst heavy snowfall, a hungry mountain lion entered a villa, its gaunt figure visible in the footage. Winter in Texas can be harsh, making food scarce for wildlife. Drawn by the scent of a golden retriever inside, the lion stealthily approached the bedroom door, waiting patiently for an opportunity. The tension escalated as the household began to stir.
Oh,
The
shit.
residents, unaware of the lurking danger, went about their morning routine.
Oh,
The
hell
lion,
nah.
finding the warmth of the house inviting,
The
dozed
lion.
off, only to wake to the realization that daylight had exposed its presence.
Ooh.
In a panic, the lion tried to escape, but the transparent glass windows proved to be an unexpected
my
barrier.
goodness. Oh,
While
my-
the forest was in sight, the lion couldn't find its way out. The sounds of the waking family heightened its anxiety. The moment the homeowner opened the door, the lion bolted into the hallway and crouched down, unseen by the man. As the woman stepped outside with her dog, they unknowingly passed by the predator.
What?
The lion, now in hunting mode, crouched low, ready to pounce. But the sudden scream of the woman, upon noticing the big cat, startled the lion, prompting it to flee. The shaken homeowner quickly retreated indoors with her pet, likely contemplating the installation of a more secure door to prevent future unwelcome visits from the wild. This incident serves as a reminder of the thin line between urban spaces and the wilderness in some parts of the
Oh,
United
my
States.
goodness. She laughing.
Jorge has always put the ones he loves first, but when it comes to caring for his teeth, at him until
If he would have ran, it would have been a problem. He ain't move at all.
the bear stops dead in his tracks. No one could predict what would happen next.
Mm.
Then, out of nowhere, Huxley's neighbor appears. With his arms raised high, the neighbor turns into a superhero and fearlessly approaches the animal, engaging the bear in a heart-stopping game of hide and seek. Watch as the neighbor relentlessly pursues the bear from behind the car until the animal finally gets spooked and goes scurrying away. Crisis averted. We spoke with Huxley and his mom Brittany about the grisly encounter, which took place in British Columbia, Canada.
We've had conversations about being aware. Hey, be aware of your surroundings. If there is a bear,
Big and overpowering are key responses when confronting a bear in the outdoors. So
Jeez.
cheers to Huxley and his neighbor for their perfect response under pressure.
I think most adults, even in that moment, would have perhaps panicked
Hell
or run
yeah.
away, or not everybody knows what to do there. So I'm super proud of him.
And off Huxley
Be lucky.
goes on his scooter to his next adventure.
Hey, man, I'm glad he made it. Jeez. Bro, what? Listen. Reaction, man. Hey, make sure you hit that like button. Hey, and if you make it to the end of this one,
And don't y'all
I need you to drop a real one for real.
Y'all hit the
And I've been
like
seeing some of
button.
the comments. A lot of these conspiracy theories.
It's all I'm grateful
You know.
for all of them.
Let's see what we
All
got
of them on my
tonight, though.
channel, 'cause I have to pay for different.
This stuff be making me think. Fire Squad, what's popping? Let's
Okay.
get it.
Hey, and what's going on? Quick question. Can we start acknowledging that slavery never really existed and begin calling it what it was? Surprise war. 1, you don't castrate slaves. Why? Because they can't make you more slaves. 2, you don't separate slaves from their...
Hold on, he said slavery never existed, like it never happened, like not just here, but nowhere in the world? That's a stretch, bro. Come on now. Let's hear what he's talking about, though.
families, because now they have no loyalty to you or any reason to remain working for you. 3, do you know who you do castrate and separate from their families? Prisoners of war.
Okay.
In 1492, Christopher Columbus didn't discover anything. He was doing reconnaissance for Spanish, the Portuguese, and the Roman Catholic Church, specifically Pope Alexander VI. Once Christopher VI declared the papal bull Inter Caetera, which means among other works. The Inter Caetera, or the papal bull in 1493, gave the Portuguese and the Spanish the right to exterminate the aboriginal peoples of the Americas because they were considered savages because they were not Christian faith.
Mm.
This is the doctrine of discovery. See, it says the papal bull Inter Caetera, or among other works, issued by Pope Alexander VI, we'll get back to him in a second, on May 4th, 1493, played a central role in the Spanish conquest of the New World. Not discovery, but watch this. The document supported Spain's strategy to ensure its exclusive rights to the land.
Research. Let me make sure I put that out there. You know what I mean? Make sure you do your own research. I'm just saying, don't take it with a grain of salt. But make sure if any of this stuff trigger your mind and trigger your curiosity, make sure you go do your own research too.
Here, first of all, Columbus did not discover America. Cristobal Colon is a Cullen who is one of the 1%ers of the world. When you realize that Christopher Columbus's real name is not Christopher Columbus, but Cristobal Colon, aka Cristoforo Cullen, that is the point in history when you realize the Cullen family and the Colon family are the same family. On one hand, the Colon family is a prominent family that everything Colombian is named after, even the District of Columbia that owns the land deed to the corporation that is the United States of America. But on the other hand, changing their names as to not be detected throughout history, as is their modus operandi, the Cullen family has now become the Collins bloodline of the 13 families. Each one of these families has a position or purpose inside of their organization. The Cullen family is only called when there is a mass culling necessary. What is a culling, you ask?
Yes.
The reduction of a wild animal or barbarous nation population by selective slaughter. So knowing this, why would Pope Alexander VI, the Pope, the holy man of the world, why would he enlist such a sadistic bloodline? Who is Pope Alexander VI? Pope Alexander VI, aka Rodrigo de Borgia, of the Borgia bloodline.
Okay.
Why does that sound familiar? It's not like they changed the face of all history or anything.
Where have I heard that name before? Doesn't he have a son named Cesar?
This
Pope
guy.
Alexander VI is the father of white Jesus. Lord.
This dude, he don't went through.
Why do you think we exist? We believe that this is Matrix. This Matrix bullshit my wife believes. My wife saying the same shit this nigga said. And well done. It's the reason that everything fits together. Like, it would be enough if there was. Do you believe in other lives? You lived other lives? I know that the whatever is in our body, whatever that weighs, I know that when it leaves here, it still weighs that in the universe. So it's somewhere. It came to you.
I said heard, trying to say haven't heard at the same time. Conspiracy. But I have heard though when people die that they do lose weight. Like it is like it's a minimal weight, but almost saying like when they pass away, like they soul actually leave their body, meaning that they lose like a little bit of weight when they die. Look that up. Shit. Help me in the comments.
From somebody. Yes. Wow, right? It came to you from somebody when it leaves you, it's gonna go someone else. Yeah. It's the reason that when you're young, there's a lot of things that you learn that nobody taught you at all. You just this whole world is just one big school. One big school.
He looking
so
like
when
what
we
the
die,
hell?
we're not gonna know as much as we got, but even as much as we live. You know, we don't know anything. Only thing we know is what they told us in those books. Right. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. That's how you know that there's truth in the history, though, because we're now in a place now in history where we're able to know more about the universe than ever. Like we've been to places now. You know what I mean? We've been to all these planets and we've had these experiences unlike anybody else in history. But the problem is that whatever they said about the planets 6,000 years ago, bullshit. No, it was all true, and we are just now finding out. So the question is, how the fuck did they know? Why did they say Mars was the red planet before they got there and explained to us that that's what it was like and what the environment was? How did they know about the rings on that planet, and why were they correct about it? And if they're that correct, what were I'm saying? Like I said, who are we? Who's our ancestors? When it first started, how did my ancestors look? My millions ancestors. Wow, I can't say a million ain't nothing. A million years ain't shit compared to time. Trillion, who's my trillion? Ooh, life is a bitch, huh? Right. There's no time. We made time, but
That's real.
it's really eternity.
That's something I truly believe in. I don't care what nobody say. Time is a made up thing. It's a construct. That's something I believe in personally. Y'all can let me know in the comments what you think about it, but you can think it's different calendars. We got the calendar we in over here in America. They got the Gregorian calendar, if I'm not mistaken, which is like what's in Ethiopia is supposed to be like the original calendar. You know what I mean? And it's not even, it's a whole nother year over there. So it's just like, and then I think like they added on a month here, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's daylight saving times when they are, we just gonna push up an hour. All right, we're gonna take away an hour now. Like, what's going on? How can we just manipulate time like that? And I know where it stemmed from in regards to the time moving forward and back from farming and all that stuff. But come on, we can just take an hour away and give an hour. I don't know.
That's what you were saying when you said the 365 days. So before somebody called it that,
right?
Then how old were you? Like, how were you measuring your
before Julius Caesar said, "Hey, motherfucker, this is gonna be 1 year because I can't take this shit." So it's no such thing as time. It's eternity, and we turned it into time.
I thought when I was real young, I thought if you was a great man, you generally died around 25 or 26. So I had planned my life according to that. And I got into this thing about 6 or 7 years old where I was like, yeah, every 7 years, that's almost like a new you. And so I'll going my entire life. So, I've lived 7 whole existences that were separate from the one before it. Taking what it takes from it. But yeah.
They getting high. They talking
all
that
that
shit.
up right there, all that shit, man. Man, you got young. That's the way it is.
Damn.
You know his name's not Jesus, right? If you go back to where Jesus was walking the earth and you walked around and said, "Where's Jesus?" Nobody would know who the fuck you're talking about. If you start looking deep into the scriptures, man, one of them says, "My children will know my name." Well, his name ain't Jesus. No, the scripture says, "Seek and ye shall find." Listening to a pastor tell you something isn't seeking. Why am I so big on the name?
Oh, listening to a pastor tell you something is not seeking. Oh, drop a bomb. Where my bomb at? That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Oh man, that's a gem right there.
That's right.
Listening to the pastor is not you seeking or ye seeking. Come on now.
Because if you look at certain scripture, it says, "Give praise to my name, give glory to my name." What's his name? No, it says Jesus. That's not his name. So everyone says it doesn't really matter. He just, as long as he knows. Look, I didn't read the part in the scripture that said that. I didn't read that part. I didn't read the part, "Hey, call me whatever you want. Just call me." Because his name was given to us over 7,000 times. But then at some point in time, way back in about 383 AD, they translated it and they were told not to use the name anymore. One of the 10 commandments is, "Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain."
Right?
Yeah.
Now, what does the word vain mean? It means to make meaningless or useless. How much more useless can a name be if you just stopped using it? You're making it as useless as it can be by not using his name. And he says, don't take the Lord's name in vain, which most people think says, don't say goddamn. Goddamn is it. First of all, God ain't his name. That's a title. Secondly, that's not what it means. It says, don't make God meaningless and useless. But that's not actually what the thing said. He basically said, don't make my name meaningless. That was his commandment. And then we're all doing it when we say Jesus. We're all doing it when we say God. Why? Because it's not.
I'm telling y'all not to say it.
Imagine going up to the pearly gates, because I could have just saved all your lives. And there's a big dude up there like this. He's standing there all big and buff as shit. He goes, "What's up?" You say, "What's up?" They say, "Who you here to see?" You say,
Let's go.
The Nickelodeon was kid everything. But that more.
you say Jesus, and he goes, "I don't know who you're talking about." You ever read? I'm gonna walk up. They're gonna be like, "Who you here to see?" And I'm gonna say, "I'm here to see Yahshua. My man Yahshua is supposed to meet me here, so I can go meet Yahuwah or Yahweh." And if I'm wrong, wrong.
mentions.
Wow.
There's different wording.
Do you know why
too.
Prince, the famous rock star that was a friend of mine, do you know why he called himself the artist when he came back? He calls himself the artist because that's what they call us in our contracts. Oh, these contracts are crazy. You should hear the terminology they say in these contracts. To use your name and likeness in perpetuity throughout the universe. Who the fuck could possibly know what that means?
The universe.
Nobody does.
Do you agree with what are you saying? Could there be a darker side to these contracts that these artists sign, or is
A kid like me, you have to hire somebody to tell you what that means. And you sit down at a table and you do the contract game. And that's how I got with Comedy Central. I signed a contract. But I signed the contract the way that a 28-year-old expectant father that was broke signs a contract. I was desperate. I needed a way out. And it wasn't good money and it wasn't good circumstances. But what else am I going to do, I said. And all these white people sitting at that table told me, trust us, Dave, it's a good contract. And I looked around the table and they all seemed to agree. It was a good contract. But what if they were all friends?
They feed off desperation. That's a fact.
I don't even have nothing to say anymore, y'all.
What?
Y'all are literally exposing the out of this country. It's so many videos down my timeline talking about this ban, these arrests, government cover-ups, these laws. Y'all just doing all the work.
Let's give a round of applause to America, please.
I'm so proud of y'all. Like, is everybody gonna quit their jobs and stop paying rent? I'm seeing so many people like ready for this. This is just the most beautiful time in America. So many of our governmental officials are being exposed. Like, it's been so hard to reason with millennials. I'm actually seeing millennials wake up. Yeah. Ready? Because I'm tired of this. Why am I paying for water? Like, I'm just gonna give y'all a round of applause. Scared, get food and all. Like, y'all just like, I don't care. I'm not gonna streets they're feeding into these scare tactics. What? True history is actually coming out. Keep it up. I'm so proud of y'all.
Wow. She said y'all ain't about to pay rent and quit your jobs next.
Wake up and begging you guys.
Remember when I say just coincidence?
Okay.
It's not fact. It's just coincidence.
Okay.
Here you go. Did you know Oprah Winfrey has been securing Maui land like it's a trending bestseller? In just 2023, she invested in a vast 520-acre plot for $3.89 million, then went for another 330 acres at $2.47 million. Not to mention the two 10-acre patches she bought in 2022 for $100,000 each. From a mere 100 acres in Maui, Oprah now commands over 1,000 acres. But here's the twist. Amidst this real estate surge, a sudden fire happens, destroying homes nearby, but leaving her vast terrains unscathed. Does that ring a bell? Think back to 2017. A deadly fire consumed homes near her Montecito mansion. Yet once again, Oprah's property emerged untouched. And after that event, she expanded her Montecito land holdings to a whopping 70 acres, even snapping up a 4-acre complex in 2019, which was decimated by mudslides shortly after the 2017 fire. The connections, the acquisitions, and the timing are definitely food for thought.
Wow.
What a coinky dinky dink.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Now this man's a definition of woke.
Got into the habit of buying junk fast foods that have no actual food.
No, I got some.
I like
Buy
this guy.
gallons of poisonous household cleaners when one degradable soft soap will do. We are poisoning our homes and wasting our hard-earned money for no good reason.
That's
Why?
real.
They just want you to buy stuff. If you don't want food with chemicals or GMOs in it, then don't buy it. The minute we start taking responsibility and spending our money wisely,
The minute we start taking responsibility, that's key. Take responsibility, man. Just
know that we have woken up. The last people I would trust with my health is big pharma and big government, because neither one of those strike me as caring entities. They're all about profit. Exactly. They're all about profit. What does the government actually do to help? When a superpower with all this military might attacks, just unprovoked, attacks like Iraq. Afghan. I'm
wow.
Wow. No, sorry, Ukraine. Think. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked in their homes. And people can only come out if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over.
Wow.
I threw the script away. I mean, who is going to believe that crazy idea? Being forced to do drugs? I do that voluntarily all day long.
He woke though. I done seen some videos on him.
What's a conspiracy?
I believe that ancient civilizations were actually more advanced than
So
and my body was on the table.
Okay.
And I was on shit. And it was all metal, like a spoon. And I was looking down on my body, and my body was like chest down. I was looking at the back, and there was some beings operating on my 33rd vertebrae, and it felt like they was. It felt like when you take two wires, how me get the line, but it was right here, and it was. I could look all around me, but I couldn't look to the right. It was a being right here to the right, but it didn't look like me or you. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was whatever it was. It was a masculine being, and it was talking to me telepathically. And they told me it was the captain of the ship. This is a true ass story, and they told me it was the captain of the ship. And I asked the being, like, it wouldn't identify itself though. When I asked specific questions like, "Where you from?" It didn't answer. And I asked like, "What you doing?" It was like, "What are you doing to my body?" And it was like, "We fixing you." And the being asked me for my permission. I gave it my permission, and then it kept touching. It kept going like this from my spine. And it was. They say they were strengthening my nervous system so that I could channel. And I believe that because I do channel. But it was clicking me like this, and I remember the pain was increasing, and the being kept communicating with me like, "Are you okay? Can we keep going?" I kept saying, "Yeah, I could take it. I could take it. I could take it." And I was trying to be tough and take the pain. I remember the pain got so excruciating, I just came back to my body, and it ain't brought me back.
Do you believe that maybe you probably
Hell no, that
had a hallucination due to all the books you were overloading your mind.
Grand Rising and attention to anybody who is watching this video. Today we're going to be doing alien abduction stories. People who have been talking about their abductions under sleep hypnosis. You know how I feel about intro. Let's just get into the video while I play jingle.
Yo, have you heard of the Betty and Barney Hill alien abduction? So Betty and Barney just got married, right? And decided airplane or helicopter. But then it starts getting closer and closer. So they start freaking out. They decide to stop the car, get out the car, and see an object with windows and gray little beings in those windows with big black eyes. They're like, hell nah, we gotta get out of here. Let's go. They get in the car, they dip off. I would have too. I don't play that. Good thing you got a black husband. They suddenly feel drowsy and lights out. So they regain consciousness 35 miles away from where they originally were, with no memory of what happened. Over time, memories and nightmares of what happened starts coming back. So they tell a local newspaper that interviews them, and they tell how they got abducted by aliens. They're like, no, this can't be true. You just want some clout. But no, Betty shows them a star system in the southern constellation, which was never discovered before. So they're like, okay, but we still think you're lying. And they put both of them under hypnosis.
She was telling me something. What did he tell you? To keep my eyes closed. Don't open them. Never seen his eyes before. I can't do it, man. All right.
I want to listen to more of these hypnosis tapes.
Did you feel you were going to be operating on? No. I was laying on the table. I thought if I keep real quiet, I won't be harmed.
Being who he is in 1961, he's active in civil rights in his local community. He's a target, and he's somebody who's been hassled before, absolutely has. So he's now in this trauma again of being out of control in a place where somebody might hurt him. When we look at what Betty's going through at the same time, she's actually talking with these extraterrestrial entities. Barney's in this total mode of, I need to shut down, I need to not be here, I need to close my eyes in her abdomen. And she tells the ETs, that's going to hurt me. And they respond with, okay, they're going to, alter something so it's less painful for her. This right here, which is a star chart shown to her by the extraterrestrial entities, saying where they come from, where our Earth is in relation to where they are from, and where their trade routes are in other stars.
Excuse me.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are now available on StreamYard. Have you ever done a recording where your guest just had terrible internet issues? They were blurry, they were freezing, you could almost hardly hear them. Well, with local recordings from StreamYard, you'll be able to download a perfect quality video.
Okay, there we go. We go back.
call my friend. There's a freaking alien in my room, and I call her, and I'm freaking out. It's just like staring at me, and then I see a smaller gray, and it was like this statue, a statue of two hands holding each other, like holding hands, and it had words on it. And I know it had something to do with hybrid children, looking beings, but they weren't fully human. It's like they were both hybrid. I'll finish the story in part 2.
Part 2 is just basically about her coming back from the experience.
They told me they were making a hybrid race.
And for what?
They didn't want. I wanted to know for what, but they never of what this hybrid race would be doing, where it would be, or what. My grandfather, he said they would be sitting on the side porch at night, and they would see lights over the oil wells. And a lot of times they would see what they thought were little children dressed in white running around the oil wells. And on several dressed in white. And once or twice they got up to go see if they could catch the little children and find out who they were. And they would start out, but by the time they would get there, the children would be gone. The main concept was creating a hybrid breed. At least that's what they told me, that they were trying to create, and they had not yet produced that person. Now, on another occasion, I remembered being shown a baby that really favored my grandson a lot. If you would, give it the slant eyes, they weren't as big as their eyes, but it looked human. And I knew that this.
And we're back at
that,
third quarter planning. Adams is quarterbacking this project, and she's looking pretty tired, Jill.
She's stuck, Bill, and that deadline is looming.
It looms for us all, Jill.
Wait a minute. She just pulled a Grammarly.
That is a smart move by Adams. Grammarly is an AI writing partner that helps you make your point.
Look at that, Bill. She just asked Grammarly to help her write a summary of her doc. And
which might be, you could say that it could be anything. The bruises are real. Nobody is beating me up in my sleep. Because if anybody hit me, that
I don't have the marks on me on my wrist. I have 4 marks on my legs, and I was trying to figure out what happened because I got up with all of these. I got up with a bruise on my leg, 4 marks on my leg and 1 mark on my wrist, kind of like right here. And it's gone now. I had looked in the mirror when I got up today. I'm like, dang, it's gone. That is a real thing. Waking up with marks on your body, bruises on your body. I have no idea where it came from and why it disappeared all of a sudden now. I'm not going to just make this up or tell you this just to relate to the story. This is something that I actually experienced. I wish I would have took a picture of it, but it was like a brown mark right here, a bruise that random is gone. But I'm saying I have been getting up with marks on my body and bruises that I don't know where it came from.
And it's what happened, knowing that there's nothing that I can do about it, because I cannot stop them. Nobody can stop them from doing what they want to do. Nobody on this at all.
Like they do magic.
Yeah, they could come in today and take over if that was their desire. But like I said, I don't feel it's their desire to take over through violence, and they don't care about government.
As for both watching and listening to these people's encounters, I personally feel like if these beings are doing this type of stuff, they don't want this stuff to come out to the light. And the fact that it's been publicized and these people have not gone missing, these people are able to freely talk about what their experiences were, gives me the insight from my own personal discernment, purposely allowing this information to be released, a soft UFO information, so that we can kind of know what's going on, but also not believe it, because that's the best way to hide something. That's the best way to keep things in order. If they could just come here and take over, they would have already done it. And partially, they are already doing it now. But what's one thing that everybody can agree on in this entire planet? That we have free will. You have the right to remain silent. You have free will in Christian religion that God has given you to make your decisions. Even showing cases of angels falling of their own free will. We have free will. That is something that a universal law that cannot be taken advantage of. But there's a way around consent, and why these gray
Yeah, you have the right to consent. You have the right to different rights, but you have to know your rights to do. The next package deal is to learn how to do these laws, because that's what's coming up next, you all. These new laws. That's for sure.
around the world. All over the world, banks have used, not say parent or mother. Your mother was informing the bank that she has just produced another product to be bought and sold. England, the British Crown, through international banking, owns your physical body. That's the law. And on the back of the Social Security card will be numbers in red. On the back of red. Numbers on the back of a Social Security card in red designate your body. It is the serial number of your birth certificate. And if you could get your original birth certificate back, you would find that on the back of the birth certificate are all the banks around the world. All over the world, banks have used your birth certificate.
If you're not competent and say, but I read the law, I want to take my own person back, I can take care of myself, thank you. If you don't do that, they're going to do it for you. Wake up.
And that is why they can make these treaties with these alien beings in exchange for certain information, certain technology, because they own you.
Did the U.S. government make a treaty with aliens to allow them to abduct citizens? According to Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper, they did. 34th President Dwight D. Eisenhower allegedly did this on vacation in Palm Springs. So according to the book, in 1953, astronomers noticed strange craft orbiting the equator. The movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind is a fictionalized version of it. Meanwhile, a race of humanoid aliens landed in the Homestead Air Force Base in Florida and said, whatever you do, do not make a deal with those aliens that are circling the equator. Now, this race of humanoid aliens said, we would like to help you, but with your spiritual development. And they said, we won't be giving you any technology because you're not even spiritually evolved enough to handle the technology you already have. And these humanoid aliens said, the only way we're going to help you is if you agree to disarm all nuclear weapons. And the US government was like, nah, we're going to work with those aliens that you say are evil because they're going to give us weapons. So President Eisenhower planned a trip to Palm Springs, and the meeting was set to happen at Edwards Air Force Base. Palm Springs, Edwards Air Force Base. And this happened on February 20 Air Force, and the aliens would agree to not make treaties with any other Earth nation in exchange for abducting humans on a limited but periodic basis, with the stipulation that humans would not be harmed and would not remember the experience, and that they went to a group which was then developed called the Majesty 12, sometimes referred to as Majestic 12 or MJ12. Now, according to the Washington Post article, the Nordics were the humanoid race, and it was the Greys that we ended up doing the deal with the dentist. And he attended church in Los Angeles the next morning.
In 1954, Dwight Eisenhower signed what's known as the Granada Treaty with the alien gray race. In exchange for shared alien technologies, the Greys were allowed to abduct a number of humans annually for medical examination. The Greys also demanded anonymity from the public. A short time later, human technology took a giant leap forward with circuit chips, fiber optics, and lasers. The Granada Treaty is still active today, but the number of human abductions has increased, despite objections from the world governments.
I'm gonna leave y'all with that information. I love y'all. I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all day. All right, so I'm gonna leave y'all with that information. Be on the lookout for part 2. I hope
Real Kia on YouTube. Real Kia on YouTube. No, not that Real Kia. They got the wrong one. Mm. Okay, y'all, we're gonna start off with this one. We're gonna start off with this one, y'all. I'm gonna play 3 and then I'm gonna go ahead and head it on out. I want to show y'all some clips from TikTok. Well, let me go make sure it show. Let me make sure it go first. Hold on, because it may not start without the sound. Okay.
So it's not actually the movie that's doing it. The movie triggered something that's actually happened in your life that you're not completely sure. The concept on your planet that has been labeled alien abduction.
Yes.
Well, you're a part of that.
Was I abducted?
Yes. Many times. And the idea, therefore, that even though those memories of that abduction were suppressed, the movie triggered it to a degree that haunts you because it's telling you there's some. It's not the movie that's real, it's your experience that it's reminding you of. It doesn't mean that the experience was actually something to be afraid of. All it is saying is that it's reminding you that you were afraid in the experience because you felt out of control. And they were what you would consider to be alien beings. Yes? You follow me so far?
Yeah.
All right.
It just causes more questions.
Well, I understand, and I'm about to answer a couple of them.
Okay.
The beings that you typically call the Greys that are involved with that particular encounter scenario are not actually aliens in the strictest sense of that term. As we have already mentioned, they are actually a mutated race of humans from a parallel Earth that destroyed their reality, lost the ability to reproduce, and knew that the only way to reconstruct their culture was to, in a sense, shift DNA, blend that genetic material with their own to create a hybrid race, one of which we are, which perpetuated their society. You, on a higher level, agreed to participate in that, even though your physical mind doesn't really remember. But on a spirit level, you agree in that particular experience was actually a parallel version of you in that society. Is this making any more sense?
I have never been speechless in my entire life. I don't even know it. Yeah.
All right.
It is making sense.
Here's a suggestion for you. Don't run from the fear. Start remembering more about your intentional part in the entire agenda of what's going on, which is connected to the evolution of your planet. Because eventually your world will become what we term the sixth hybrid race. These encounters is part of that experience. Yes?
Yes.
So you have agreed to participate in this. And if you ask for more clarity when you go to sleep, ask for more clarity, more awareness, more remembrance, it will be given to you eventually. Because you'll be coming from a position of strength, a position of equality. You will know that you're not really out of control. You will understand your part in the entire program, and you will gain more confidence in your ability to communicate more clearly with those beings and more consciously be aware of what's going on and have more apparent control in that situation. Make sense?
Yes. I have something that, now I have another question
Yes.
regarding that. Those gray people,
yes,
are they sort of acting as angels in my life?
Well, not exactly. They do watch over you from time to time, but not exactly in the way you mean it when you use the term angel. There is an angelic level to consciousness, an angelic realm, and spirits that in that sense guide you and watch you. The gray beings from time to time sort of participate in that way, but not in the same way that you think of when you think of angels. Does that make sense?
Yes. Have they saved my life 3 times? That's why I'm asking. I've had 3 miraculous things happen. that
Well,
literally
they
saved my
have
life.
been involved in it, but that also involved higher levels of being. In other words, we sense that at least on one of those occasions, you actually did die. But you were given a choice to continue the life without knowing you had died. That's possible, you know. Because all you're doing is shifting into a parallel reality where a version of you still exists. And you just continue on as if nothing happened, or perhaps at the very most, you think, oh, well, how did I get out of that scrape? I don't know. You didn't, actually. But it is made to seem as if you did.
Okay, can I just say this?
Yes, you can just say whatever you want.
Last year, February, I fell downstairs, landed face first on concrete.
You broke your neck. You died.
And I had not a scratch on my face when I woke up.
Because it wasn't you that fell down the stairs. You're in a different body, in a different reality. So similar, you don't know that it's not the same one. But it might as well be, because it still fulfills the theme that you're exploring. It's close enough.
Glad y'all came back for part 2 of the alien abductions. You already know that there's a lot of different stories that people have been putting out, and it comes out as falsely. But I'm gonna just use my discernment with the videos I have chosen, and I want to know y'all opinion and what y'all think on what was said. Okay, do y'all remember when I made that video about me having a dream about the memories of me being in that parallel here for some reason? Because I don't even know what happened to the version of me that was in that parallel. She gone. She's somewhere else. But anyways, I believe in parallel realities, and I do believe that there are hybrid humans, and they have been interacting with the Greys. We already know about the Greys. We already know about the paid people who've been paid off to talk about these alien and
with a mantis being. Check this out.
Eyes and saw a room with metal walls that had lights, buttons, and switches all over. I was laying on my back, and the mantis was adjusting. The creature looked at me, and I walked over and touched it. I could see everything in the most bizarre way. It was like seeing all sides of everything inside and out at the same time. While this was happening, I also felt an intense and terrible fear. I understood that while I was seeing through the mantis's eyes, it was also seeing through my eyes, and it was terrified of my limited vision. It seemed as if the creature became horribly claustrophobic and pulled away from me. And that's all I remember.
I have heard verses that said, as above, so below. So I do believe that there are mantis beings and insectoids. And let me just show you what I was talking about last year. For some reason, I grew a strange interest in animals. I am not taking any chances. Do y'all remember when I said this? The creature that don't even look like it's supposed to be from this earth. Or could it have just been a creature from space? Now you can say what you want, but I bet you we are not the only beings, only species, only creatures that are in this universe. So I did some digging on some of these animals, and they look like some of these gods or alien races. Let's just start with these lions. There is an alien race called the Lyrans who have incarnated here physically and spiritually to help us evolve our consciousness. You know that saying they drew it because they synced it on the walls of Egypt. And y'all know how they say that dolphins are way smarter than humans? Well, that's not a coincidence either. Their Caribbean taught them so much spiritual information that they use to this day. Because this is a mermaid. Dolphins are highly intelligent beings, must have got it from them. There's also another alien race called the avians. They look like birds and they're like 8 feet tall. They exist in a very, very high dimension. They're trying to help us find unity instead of being separate from each other. They have been known to speak through these birds as spirits. And again, they drew it because they saw it. They have already been here. Do not get me started on these snakes. There are depictions of them everywhere as high vibrational beings. They drew it because they saw it. And if y'all don't know about these reptilians already, who have shape-shifting abilities, who have taken root in our political, social, religious, and financial part of the system, sometimes known to be working with the Illuminati. Oh yeah, the elephants too, giving wisdom and knowledge. Some of these animals are not just animals and could be descendants of these alien races. We know that everything is all connected. So with me saying that, like certain gods and aliens that they have been put out, what do you think about our design? I've already showed you that they have talked about hybrid evil
by beings from another planet. When Travis is taken up into the craft, he still to this day has very detailed imagery of what he saw and who he spoke to. He describes humanoid figures that look like humans but weren't human. The story would gain so much attention. In 1993, a film would be made on the story. The film pushes the story a little more into a fictional realm, but there are some parts of it that Travis says were true to his side of the events. The interesting part with Travis's story is that in the past 40 years, it has not changed. It's stayed the same. Travis has multiple witnesses that were with him the night he was abducted himself in Snowflake, Arizona in 1975.
When you think about and actually look at these beings that have been trying to do experiments on, humans, they look like they have descended. Like, not to talk about how they look, no offense, aliens out there. I'm not trying to talk about y'all preference and personal looks, but the way they look in this movie, which was based off of a true event from this man named Travis, they look like they have descended from human. He said they look humanoid, but they look like they descended, and they're trying to do experiments to try to ascend through us, through the ones who are actually here. What happened in the TV show, The 100? Stay with me. In this TV show, right, the world had been ended by an AI robot who wanted to save the planet. humanity was basically, killing the planet, right? So during this time, the rich people knew that this was about to happen due to the upgrade of technology and the stuff that was going on in politics. So they had created a bunker called Mount Weather. And these rich people survived in this bunker for about 300, 400 years. On the outside, when the world was being destroyed, they went underground, they descended. And some people also, in the world ending, and their blood, their DNA had upgraded, same as the people who went to space. Their bodies were more powerful and stronger biologically. Now, the rich people who decided to stay, they did not upgrade at all. Their blood was still, all they could do was stay inside of that chamber as the earth started to upgrade itself. Now, the people who went to space and the people who survived Earth, made the sacrifices to ascend, they actually started to be experimented, and they started to capture them and take their blood and use them. They basically didn't go through the ascension process and wanted to feed off of the people who did in order for them to keep thriving and surviving. Now, doesn't that sound like the beings who have made contracts with ET races that have decided to use us, experiment on us? If these are highly advanced beings and they have highly advanced technology, what do they need to experiment on us for? They the highest form travel the speed of
titled EBE, which he assumed stood for Extraterrestrial Biological Entity. It contained biological information on alien life forms. The document apparently human origins narratives, but without more evidence. Lazar's specific assertions linking aliens to religion remain highly controversial and unproven.
So do you remember when I talked about that story with that girl who saw the gray alien go through the wall? That's basically an example of warping of space-time. We actually were able to do that physically, and we have the ability to do that. It's just, about the lock codes in our DNA and stuff. We are a very, very powerful race down here. So that's why it's so important for them to keep us at certain mental states so we can't evolve, ascend.
We start with Travis Walton himself here in our Washington studio. Thousands of Americans claim they've had a terrifying UFO experience. Many such stories fall apart and impresses a lot of people.
This is Sitgreaves National Forest. Located in northern Arizona, its trees cover over 2 million acres of land. But on November 5th, 1970, one of the most well-documented alien ever. Picture a night much like this, quiet, serene, seemingly ordinary. But on this particular night, reality itself would be shattered, giving rise to a mystery that still haunts the minds of those who dare to explore it. This is the case of Travis Walton, an alien encounter that'll leave you questioning the very fabric of our existence. It all started when a 7-man crew of lumberjacks were hired to go and cut down a large section of trees deep inside the forest. Now, on the day of the incident, the guys were running a little behind pace for their deadline to get the job done.
Here is Mike Rogers, his friend and a witness to the incident.
I was the crew boss, and I hired Travis and several other guys. Travis was my best friend.
As soon as the sun came up, all 7 men packed into one truck and drove out to the remote site they'd been working at, where they planned to stay all the way until sunset. Now, aside from the overtime, this day was fairly usual, except for the fact that Mike Rogers, the crew boss, and Travis Walton were butting heads all day. Usually they were best friends, but a few days before, they had gotten into a heated argument, which caused tensions to be high, even at work.
He had gone out to see this girlfriend of mine, so we got in a fight over that.
But despite their differences, they were able to work all day until it was literally too dark to see anything. And that's when all the guys crammed back into the truck and didn't expect to see anybody except for the occasional hunter. That's why they were very confused when they saw that right off the road.
I hadn't driven very far when we caught glimmers of this glow coming through the trees.
Confused, nobody had any idea what this could be.
You don't normally see any light at all out in the woods at night.
It wasn't headlights because they were too bright. One guy thought it might be the moon, but that wasn't true because the moon was clearly visible in another part of the sky.
And that's somewhere you're saying, well, maybe it's...
Mike Rogers decided to turn the truck and start going towards the lights just to check out what was going on. And as they got within a few hundred feet, they noticed the tree start to open up into a clearing.
And when we broke into the clearing, there it was.
In the middle of the clearing was a big object that was glowing and
so smooth, metallic.
Jumped out of the truck and started running towards this thing at a full sprint.
You know, I just wanted to...
Literally the week before, the crew had seen a bear in the woods and Travis sprinted at the thing to scare it off. And now Travis found himself running directly at this flying saucer, showing no fear.
It was a rather impulsive thing to do, and I was regretting it almost as quickly as I did it.
As he got closer to this thing, it wasn't moving, and he started to hear this high-pitched humming noise that was coming from the craft, almost like an electrical buzz.
It was just such an intense sound, where the lows were something you really felt more than heard, and the highs were kind of like something that was like inside your head rather than coming through your ear.
I mean, the guys in the truck were even feeling this vibration too.
When my hands were on the steering wheel, I could feel it louder, more volume.
And this started to spook Travis. So that's why he jumped down into a crouching position, now almost directly under the craft. And that's when his fight or flight response kicked in. So he stood up, tried to run away from this thing, stood up right out of the grass.
That's when it hit me. Turned my head the other way, and then the whole lit up bluish green. And when I looked back, he's a few feet off the ground, trapped like this.
All 6 men who were still in the truck watched in horror as they thought this thing had just killed their friend Travis. So without hesitation, Mike floored the gas pedal and peeled off in the other direction. And after they had gotten a few miles away, the guys were still freaking out until they saw that whatever this bright craft was, it zipped off into space at breakneck speed. So they started to gather their thoughts a little bit, and one of the guys was like, yo guys, we have to go back at Travis. Leave him there.
Or in the truck. And I was surprised that they all got in the truck.
Because if there was a small chance that Travis was still alive, he wouldn't survive the night. It simply got too cold at that time of the year in northern Arizona, meaning that if the craft didn't kill him, the hypothermia would have. So Mike turned the truck around and started driving back towards this clearing. And when they got there, they expected that they would find Travis's body laying somewhere on the ground. And much to their surprise, not only was the craft gone, but Travis Walton was too.
They were obviously very upset about something. And I said, what do you mean they got Travis? According to their story, they turned around and went back. Travis was not there.
Put yourself in Ellison's shoes for a second. You're working in a small town of Snowflake, Arizona that's so small, basically everybody knows everybody. And in the middle of the night, 6 young guys come up to you and tell you this crazy story about seeing a flying saucer in the woods and seeing it zap their best friend and then take him off into space. I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and even I would have a hard time believing that story.
And I tried to get just as close to each one of them as I could to see if I could detect odors of marijuana or alcohol or anything like that.
So rather than taking their story at face value, Ellison started to think that maybe these guys killed their friend and dumped his body in the woods somewhere. So he almost started to treat this like a murder. The first step, they need to go out to the clearing and investigate the scene and hopefully find Travis's body. That's when he called the Navajo County Sheriff, the dog handlers from the Arizona State Prison, and gathered as many as he could go out there and
He says that he didn't believe us or disbelieve us. You know, he was being neutral.
The police had to look at the much more obvious real world possibility that one way or another, Travis lost his life. The body was hidden.
and he was determined to get his version of the truth out of the other.
I'm not here to determine if this is a whole. I'm here to determine the law has been broken.
So he called a guy named Cy Gilson, who was the #1 polygraph with these guys tests to figure out what might have actually happened to Travis.
The entire test is established by research from Dr. Raskin out of the University of Utah, who done many, many years of research on its validity and its accuracy.
The very next day, Gilson showed up to town and interrogated each one of the crew members one by one, starting with Steve Pierce, because at 17 years old, he was the youngest guy in the group, so they figured that because he was the youngest, he would be the easiest one to crack.
Someone like that is more likely to admit that it's a sham, so he's the one I wanted to choose first, because if it was a sham, it would save a lot of time and effort on my part and everybody else.
I was scared to death. I figured I was going to flunk it because all week long I've been hearing, well, they're going to set it up to make you guys look guilty.
Each polygraph session took about 2 hours, where the guys were asked the same 4 questions over and over again. Did you murder Travis Walton? Was Travis harmed by some guy in the group? Did you see a flying saucer? Did this flying saucer hit Travis with a bright beam of light? And after questioning each one of the guys, much to his surprise, they all passed with flying colors.
Frankly, when I finished with him, I was quite surprised myself because he was passing the exam.
But despite this result, nobody was prepared for what happened. Travis Walton opened his eyes and found himself lying on his back in the middle of the road. The first thing he saw when he looked up were bright lights coming off the bottom of this flying. Suddenly, it shot off like a bullet into space.
Night, and I could see a light on the bottom of a flying saucer, and it just went straight up really fast without a sound.
There wasn't a person in sight, but Travis looked around and he noticed that there were some phone booths right up the road. So he made his way over there and used the spare change that was still in his pocket to call his brother Dwayne.
He answered and said, "Who is this?" And I tried to tell him, and he said, "I think you got the wrong number," and he started to hang up.
And Dwayne, who had been getting prank calls all week because his brother was maybe murdered or maybe abducted by aliens, assumed this was another one of those calls. So he was like, "Yo, this is not a joke. Don't call here again."
I screamed at him that, it was me. And so he stopped and he said, "Okay, I'll get somebody to come and get you."
So he jumped in his car and drove to Heber, Arizona, where Travis was, where he found Travis sitting on the ground inside the phone booth leaning against the wall. Travis was extremely terrified, extremely weak, and also had about 5 days of beard growth.
I was thinking this was still the same night, and he said, "Travis, feel your face." And I reached up and felt that I had a 5-day growth of beard. And, that came as really a terrible shock.
So using a fake name, he checked Travis into the ER.
We had him checked by a couple of MDs, and they ran some tests. I don't have all the results, but I can say this, that there was a urine analysis done on the first urine sample after the incident. And this completely does away with the idea that there was any drug involvement that some people brought up. That and the blood samples really straighten that out.
And upon getting him examined, the doctors who were familiar with the story had found that Travis lost about 12 pounds in the 5 days he was gone. And he also had this weird puncture mark on the inside of his arm that couldn't be explained. So they tried to ask Travis, like, what happened to you? Where have you been? And when Travis, who was in a catatonic state, could calm down and gather his thoughts for a little bit, he was able to tell them, I was in the forest with the guys. We saw a flying saucer. And the next thing I knew, I was laying in the street.
When I did hear that Travis had been returned, it was almost as unbelievable as the real thing.
I just looked at my mom and says, I told you we didn't kill him.
And from the way that Travis was talking, they could tell that he thought it was still the same day. So they broke the news to Travis. Travis, you've been missing for 5 days. The next day, the story of Travis's return made international headlines because what started off as a murder investigation had now just become a hoax investigation. And by the next day, this tiny town of Snowflake, Arizona had become flooded with UFO enthusiasts and reporters from every news outlet.
The first night, I lay down in bed and the phone rang. It did not stop until daylight forever. I was called by Canada. I was called by England. I was called by Japan. I was called by Russia. I was called by several Asian countries. I was called call all night long.
But the truth is, Travis was in no shape to be doing any interviews because he was still trying to process the probably very traumatic experience he just went through.
It was just too traumatic. They didn't even have
that. People would try to ask him, hey, what happened while you were gone? What happened while you were on this alien? As soon as he would start trying to recall the memories, he would start stressing out and have a panic attack.
The media scrutiny was so intense. Once it was even suspected that when my brother was involved, the reporters were knocking on the door there constantly. When we went to leave the hospital, somebody yelled out, there he is, and they chased us into traffic.
Either one of what they've actually had, if there was any foul play, if this was a hoax, the sheriff still needed to get Travis's statement of what happened. So he decided to once again take matters into his own hands by ordering Travis to Travis never showed up.
He was scheduled to take an examination with me at our office in Phoenix at the time. He never showed up for it, but I think it's more Dwayne's influence rather than his that he didn't show up.
Something that looked awfully suspicious to anybody who was a skeptic of the story.
I was in such a fragile condition that my brother made all these decisions. I didn't even talk to him or discuss these things with him, tell him what I wanted, whether I would do this interview or do that or anything. I was, not in that kind of shape.
He even talked to a few psychologists that informed him the test itself doesn't measure lies versus truth. It only measures stress levels inside the body.
I advise him not to because what it actually measures is stress. And questions about stressful memories would bring stress reactions, so it would have been meaningless to have him take that test at the time. It would have created a lot of false impressions.
So that's when a group called the Aerial Phenomenon Research Organization, or APRO, reached out to Travis's brother to offer resources and help. And one of the first things they did was they offered for Travis to undergo hypnotic regression therapy. That way he could be able to clearly recall these memories without experiencing any of the anxiety and stress of the moment.
The whole process of hypnosis is a sort of a deep relaxation. At the same time, you're confronting these memories.
Now, obviously, there's always going to be some debate on exactly how he had a lot of these memories. And all the hypnosis would do would put him into a deep state of relaxation. That way he could actually verbalize these memories without having a panic attack.
I would recount the memories for the first time in their entirety without so much of the fear that was just keeping me from even speaking, without breaking down.
Looking up at a light shining on me from the ceiling, I kind of think because the ceiling is closed.
He then looked around and noticed that 3 humanoid-looking beings were standing directly over him.
And I saw 2 men leaning over me. They weren't really men. They were a lot like men, but in kind of a brownish orange.
They had large black almond shade. That's when one of them woken up and he started to alert the other two beings. Freaked out, Travis jumped off the table and grabbed the first object he could get his hands on.
And I grabbed a tube, a clear piece of glass or something, and I tried to break off the end to get something sharp to defend myself with it.
What scared Travis the most is that despite how confrontational he'd become, these beings were completely non-reactive to him. They just looked at him and then they started walking towards the edge of the room where the wall opened up to a door, slid open. They walked
left. They just ran out real fast. And I was alone there for several minutes and I couldn't catch my breath. It was very hot.
Now that he was alone, he was able to catch his breath for a second and start assessing the scene. He started looking around, but nothing seemed even remotely familiar to him. Everything was so foreign, so alien. And aside from the table and the door, he couldn't make sense of any of it.
I was leaning. I couldn't stand up very well. And
I had a dream the other day that there was a hurricane and a tornado off the Detroit River, which is completely unlikely. So I don't know when, I don't know how long, but there is some strange behavior going on in the water, and I want to give y'all a heads up.
Okay, y'all. So there has been y'all know the last video where I channeled message a couple of hours ago. They're asking me to tell what's going on with the water. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, what do you want me to tell? Like, we know they're already trying to dump radioactive waste in the
Yeah, Japan's radioactive water dumping is affecting the Pacific Ocean, and we're all drinking from it.
I hope y'all remember the bomb that they had set off in the water.
They dropped a bomb in the ocean, and they told people that the Navy was testing it. Navy said but you can't destroy their bodies and they have to just come back. Which they did. But they destroyed a few of them when they did. There's already been a war going on. They already been playing with the sky since last year because they know all this was coming up. We are in the end game. It is over with. America pie, right? So this is how they responded when they and leave the planet, and they couldn't find it with Mom, the mermaid, and the mermaids and the siren. Y'all seen that? Y'all seen that blue streak, right? All right, and they made it seem like they dropped the bomb. This was an underwater explosion that they did. They set off some of their little technology that the reptilians got technology too. All right, so that was little technology that they try to get people. All right, and they said they were just testing. They said we just testing the bomb. You see the blue, the sonic boom effect. Look at that. All right, y'all see that?
Yeah.
Y'all see that? All right. So the elites, they wasn't testing no bomb at all. They set out frequency detonators that would destroy a certain species they was looking to destroy. That's why you see this blue ray around. Understand about these other beings that are here right now. Okay?
Let me actually show you an example.
Welcome to High Level. We're an all-in-one platform. Gives you everything you need to capture, nurture, and close leads like never before. Social chat stream, reputation management, social media posting, and so much more. And the best part is, High Level is fully white labeled, which means you can brand the platform and mobile app with your logo and company colors, then resell it to your customers for a monthly subscription that goes straight into your agency's bank account. The powerful combination of software plus your service and expertise will drive your customers' retention and your profits through the stratosphere. Sign up for a 14-day free trial today.
What's happening?
There's some kind of disturbance.
The mermaids, the sirens, they know how to do these sonic canyons, which is affecting their ears, which is affecting their body, which is actually, killing them almost, which is what Rashad Jamal just said. We're just getting into a little bit of the reason why.
There's a very interesting theory going around that says that our oceans are starting to become contaminated. Now, the first clue to this entire theory started back in June of 2021 when the U.S. released a 40,000-pound bomb in the middle of the ocean. At the same time, there was a string of multiple ocean fires all the way up until January of this year, where we had the Tonga volcanic eruption, which led to a strange theory that some of these events weren't natural or just innocent training, but that they were actively chasing and trying to take out some sort of creature in the ocean. Now this plot is thickening because people are starting to theorized that there were prehistoric creatures living in the hidden lakes and rivers of Antarctica. Those creatures are leaking into our and changing the ecosystem altogether. With strange events like 200 whales washing up on a beach in Australia like they were running from something, and billions of snow crabs disappearing from the waters around Alaska like they were being eaten, maybe this theory's onto something.
Do y'all see what I'm talking about? Do y'all see they're already attacking the aquatic family down there? There's already been history of our ancestors in my community have been victims. Did y'all know there's a lake where they used to, matter of fact, it's just called water babies?
I found the weirdest legend ever. In Idaho, there's a park called Massacre Rock State Park. It's a major part of the Oregon Trail, and it's absolutely beautiful there. But there's a pretty sinister legend attached to it. So as you can see here, there's a river that runs through the park. This is said to be the main source of the supernatural beings called water babies, which are the spirits of some drowned babies. There are a few different versions of this legend, but they're all pretty much the same. It's believed that a group of Native Americans that first inhabited this area went through a period where they had no food. So the women were forced to take their babies down to the river and drown them because they just couldn't stand to see their babies starve. And it said that after the babies drowned, they grew fins and gills and began to feed on the fish in the lake to survive. To this day, there are actually reports of people claiming to have seen the water babies playing in the river and in the canals. And it said that they will even cry out to you to try to lure you to your death.
I didn't even know that story. I didn't know there was a specific lake where they would go to do this type of stuff. Y'all watch this. This what really done it.
In February 2018, in Vietnam, a group of young people went fishing in Ma Triang Lagoon at night. After a while removing the fish caught in the net, they discovered that there was a silver ring stuck to the net. The young man it was just a fake video. But after taking a closer look at the video, they discovered it was indeed a raised hand with a black face and bright eyes hidden under the water. This hand performs the action very quickly. Only when slowing down the video can be clearly seen. This young man was later successfully rescued by others after he had drunk a full stomach of water.
Connect with your customers at the right time, in the right channel, automatically with our advanced automation tools. Send personalized emails and SMS for every stage of your customer's life cycle. Chart your own paths from scratch with our automation path builder. Or hit the ground running with our pre-built. Reduce manual work, boost engagement, increase your ROI, and have more time. With less to do, you'll get more done.
I don't know about y'all, but it's time to go after that. And I don't know why y'all in the water at nighttime. Anyways, let's get to the next video.
I want you guys to check out this video and tell me I'm tripping. Tell me I'm tripping.
Y'all see here we have Russian soldiers here, and this guy's now being pulled into the water spirit, what we call AKA the murder man. I'm gonna give you full disclosure on what the hell is going on. Body thrown back in, and he goes. Spirit walks out.
They snatching. Now, if y'all